mean, I could always, use a couple more blitzes again. I wouldn't complain.
He played Bradley a couple seasons now. With the secondary getting younger, just how important has his role in the back end been leadership wise with that group?
It's been really important. I think he came in with a lot of confidence. Came in, knowing that he wanted to be the guy that everybody kind of turned to and everybody can kind of count on. So you could tell, his focus on studying, his focus on trying to be the guy to make sure he can make plays and make guys better was an emphasis for him. And I think you just kind of see that coming into fruition with, the way he's been playing, how vocal he's been, the leadership that he's had. He's grown so much, through OTAs and it's been, extremely important for our team.
Your coach is saying they're asking you to do more. What are they asking you that's more? What's different?
I don't know. I think the more part for me, I guess, is just the checks because a lot of it was more of like a group thing. It was it was me, Cam, KJ. We kind of had kind of a good feel for one another. So, KJ kind of had the right side, I had the left side, and, I would tell Cam whatever, I needed to tell him, he would kind of tell the back end. So we just had a good flow. And so when you lose a lot of the guys that we lost at the same time, especially with KJ being out as well, it's, kind of just been on me to make sure I get all the calls out. So, but, I mean, it's not nothing out of the norm, though.
Having Bradley, is it nice to have a fellow trash talker on the field with you?
Oh, of course, yeah, of course. He always encourages me to talk trash. He said it helps him play a little better. So I'll just throw a little extra stuff out there for him.
Bobby, with all the injuries and stuff that has happened at Weekside, Shaquem to Austin to Michael, back again, KJ, back to Michael, back to Austin, all that's happened this year. How's that been for you to deal with the revolving door that's there and making sure everything's right with that position being so in flux all season long?
I just go out and try to do my job, man. I just, want to make sure that everybody's on the same page and you kind of just throw that position into the mix. I just want to make sure that, everybody's on the same page. Even, there was one point in the game where Shaq came in and I didn't even know where he came from. And then I turned to tell him to play and then Kalicha was in. And then I turned to tell Kalicha to play and then Mike was back in. So you don't really worry about it. You just, you go out there, make the plays, calls, and all that stuff. And who's ever next to you, just try to get them on the same page.
What's a challenge in facing the same team twice in a matter of a couple weeks?
You kind of see, what they did good, and they're going to go back to it. They also see, the plays that they could have got that they didn't, they probably should have used more of. And in our position, it's, we won the game, but, you don't want to get complacent and thinking that, the same thing is going to happen again. We're coming off a short week, so we have to make sure that our focus and everything is that much more sharper and understand this is a hungry team. Whenever you come out and you beat a team the way that we did, they're not going to just let you do that again. So we have to make sure we approach the game that way, approach the game that, we're going to get their best. And, they're going to throw a little bit more wrinkles in. They're going to run more things that they had success on. And just be ready. It's a football game. And at the end of the day, it's whoever wants to win that day.
How aware is this team, that you guys can clinch officially a playoff spot for the win this week?
We're not really thinking about it, honestly. I think it's just more so, do what we've been doing. Treat every game like it's a championship game. We feel like that's the best way to make sure the game is not bigger than what it needs to be. It's just another game, just another football game. Whatever happens is solely up to us. But, we control our energy, we control our focus, we control the way we approach the game, and that's what we're going to control. And the outcome is going to, take care of itself.
Against the Vikings, they had a 4th and 1 early in the game, and you and Frank got in there almost instantly. What went into that play? What did you anticipate happening versus what did happen?
That particular drive, they were in 22 personnel, and they motioned the fullback. And then when they motioned the fullback in the backfield, they ran solid. And they did that a couple times. The first time I kind of slipped, but I was able to make the tackle. The second time, he tried to run me over, and it didn't happen. And then the third time on that fourth down, I just kind of thought to myself, there's no way they run that same play 3 times in a row. So I figured they would run flex. So as soon as I seen him, run flex, I just, took my chance.
I just asked Pete about this. I don't know if you heard the answer, but how important is leadership within the position group for you guys? Like guys like you and linebackers, Bradley and the DBs, Dwayne on the O-line. How important is that, especially for the younger players?
It's really important, especially having a young team like we do. It's important to have a solid leader in every single position group, because you're going to have young guys who have questions. We're going to have all type of things happen. All type of challenges happen during the season. It's always good to have a guy in there that can kind of talk them through it and help out in every way possible. And so I think we have that in every room, and I think that's what's helped us kind of grow as fast as we've grown. Guys been willing to step up, be willing to be more vocal, and kind of take charge. And I think that's what's helped our team kind of grow, probably faster than people than expected.
Same surprised to see some guys like maybe Jaron take the roles they have in that regard, and Frank and Bradley as fast as he did. Were you surprised to see that from those guys?
Honestly, I wasn't. I seen Jay Reed. You kind of could tell towards the end of the season. Frank, I always felt like he had it in him. Same thing with B-Mac. I just think it's a respect thing. When you have a guy like Cam, an amazing leader that he is, you got to let him do his thing. Especially, you got Mike B, and you got certain older guys who been in the game for a lot longer than you've been in the game and seen probably a lot more things than you've seen. You have to respect that, and you have to do what you can to learn as much as you possibly can from them before it's your turn. And I think that's what they was doing. Learn as much as they could, and as soon as they got the opportunity, took advantage of it.
There were a lot of big personalities when you first got here. You guys, became nationally famous, not just for the play, but kind of the bravado as well. Now most of those guys have come and gone, and there's a whole new group here. How would you compare just the locker room vibe, just the personalities of this year's team versus the previous era?
Yeah, I'm not really the comparison guy. I don't really like doing comparison. I think what we had back with everybody was extremely special. And I think in order to kind of continue growing and continue to moving forward, you don't want to, put yourself in a position where you constantly, comparing the past. You just want to look forward. Those guys were special in their own right. And I think that's kind of been the message, for everybody moving forward is, you don't have to be like those dudes. You can be yourself. And, those guys, when they came here, they were themselves, and that's what made them special. And so, I don't really do that. I do all the comparison stuff when we, all said and done, hopefully 10 years from now.
This leadership that we're talking about, how does it manifest itself on the field? What's the result in games of guys like Reed, of Clark, stepping up into those roles?
I think it's just you got kind of to the point where I was talking about when, we had that kind of camaraderie with me, KJ, and Cam and guys like that. You just, you create this vibe where, you have a leader talking to his group. I'm talking to my group. You have another guy talking to his group. And everybody is speaking the same and talking the same and on the same page. And that's what makes us play so fast and play so connected because, everybody's on the same page, everybody's on the same accord, and everybody wants to do the same thing and is willing to do whatever it takes to get that goal. So I think that's what you see. You see everybody, wanting the best from one another, and everybody wanting to see the other person successful. And, you understand this game is bigger than you. You're playing for other people's families. And, I think that's kind of the main focus with that.
Did you always kind of have the confidence that this team would be able to do the things it's done this year? I mean, you just referenced, you guys maybe surprising some people with what you've done. Did you always kind of, when all the changes were going on, still feel like you could get to this point?
Yeah, I felt that way. I felt, everybody was so focused on comparing, the team to, what we had, and they were forgetting what we still had. We had a lot of guys in this room that was capable of doing, some amazing things. And, it was okay. We sat there patiently, waiting for, the opportunity to show that we could still be good. And, that's what we were doing. We just, as soon as, we started 0-2, everybody was like, okay, throw in the towel. But, we knew we had the people and the leadership and the athletes to figure it out and get the season going how we wanted to.
What do you remember about the way that Richard and Doug used to go at each other in practice?
A lot of trash talking, a lot of Stanford talk. It was a great thing to watch because one play you would watch Doug, catch it over Sherm, and the next play you would watch, Sherm catch it over Doug, and it was just, always a heated battle, one of those battles that you look forward to watching, on the film, because it was greatness at its best, and it was, someone trying to get the best out of someone else every single time they stepped on the field, and watching that, you wanted to be a part of that, and you wanted to do your own version of that. So, as a linebacker, maybe you try to step up your game on a running back. And so I think it just kind of, trickled down to everybody because you watching, two great competitors compete, and it was always fun to watch.
Was it ever strange knowing how close they were, and then it didn't really seem like that at times on the field?
Nah, I mean, if you got brothers, then, you would know. Like I got, my brother, me and my brother had all type of, heated battles, heated conversations, heated whatever. But at the end of the day, when we got back in the house, we were still brothers. So I think that's kind of what it was. On the field, they'll have all type of, things that they meant or didn't meant or whatever. And when they got back into the locker room, it was always love.
What were those film sessions like? Were teammates taking sides? The Sherman, Doug stuff on the
Sherm was always talking trash. And Sherm never lost. So, if you talk to Sherm, he never lost one battle.
Did you know Michael was playing through that injury on Monday night?
I did not. I didn't know the extent of the injury. I think, something might have happened. He mentioned something, but, he, felt good and said he was okay and, went out there. But I didn't know that, it was that extended until after the game.
Bobby, what has Buckavius Mingo provided for this team?
A lot of energy, a lot of speed, and, a solid, Sam linebacker, but, you watch him, the way that he plays on special teams and the amount of effort and the amount of strain that he plays with is something off the charts. It's something that, we kind of point out every single time you watch our special teams guy. You see him flying around the field. He makes other guys, have to run faster, have to do better. We have a little point system, and, he's leading by a long shot. And so, he's a great competitor, great person, and, amazing vibes.
The video shows that you actually put your hands on your teammates, but how much did you actually use them for leverage on the play?
Personally, I didn't feel like I used them at all. I felt like, in practice it was a little bit more different because we didn't have pads on, and there was a little bit more space. But during the game, it wasn't. It was kind of tight. So, I was trying to make room for myself so I wouldn't give it up that I'm down there, but also kind of get ready that I was going to jump. And if you watch how I did it in practice, it was the same thing. Whenever I jumped, my hands were just naturally to my side. And, if you watch the play, when I jumped, my level of which I jumped did not move. I was at the same height. So if I would have pushed off or used them to get over, you would have seen a change in where I was at. But it wasn't. But, at the end of the day, it counted. I'm going to take it. I'm going to count it as a block. Maybe 10 years, 15 years from now, y'all ain't going to forget it happened. So I'm good with it.
That's something you keep in mind, though, if you end up having an opportunity to do that again, is where your hands are, and particularly because you obviously didn't use your teammates to get over the line. To be able to do that in the future, is that something that's in the back of your mind if you were to do that again?
Well, yeah, I think it got to be in the back of your mind now because I think they're very conscious of it. And so, they're going to be aware of it wherever we're at and things like that. But it was kind of the same thing when I jumped over, in Arizona. They were saying my foot clipped somebody, and they didn't think it was counting. So at the end of the day, who cares? It counted. I'm taking it, and I appreciate it.
Anything else? Thanks, Bobby.
All right, buddy.